Buying your first horse is exciting, but it can also cause you a great deal of pain physically, financially, and mentally if you don't know what you're stepping into. I've been around horses a long time, and I've watched people lose confidence, money, and sometimes their love for riding and even their love for horses because they believe things that simply aren't true. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 10 biggest myths first time horse buyers believe, not based on internet opinions, but on real ranch experience, real injuries, and real mistakes I've seen and made over the years. If you're new to horses or thinking about buying your first horse, this could save you a lot of time and trouble. Myth number 1: Green horse and green rider works. No. It sounds romantic. It sounds like a movie. It sounds cute on Facebook. But in real life, it's a wreck waiting to happen. A green rider needs a broke horse. A green horse needs an experienced rider. When both are green, nobody's teaching anybody anything. Now listen, this does work occasionally. Some people get really lucky, like I did. My first horse was a 3-year-old APHA mare named Double A's Black Magic Legacy. She was started as a 2-year-old for 90 days, turned out for over a year, and the barn I was learning at ended up getting her. I bought her. To this day, she's one of the best horses I ever owned. Kind, gentle, brave, super smart. Everything you could ask for in a 3-year-old. That was good breeding and a lot of luck. That's not something you should rely on when buying your first horse. Number 2, that you always need a vet check. That is not true. I suggest doing your research. Know what you're buying. If you're buying a horse that's ran on the track or been heavily shown, I would get a vet check, especially if the horse is being sold cheap. Having a vet, they're going to check the age that the seller is claiming matches what the horse actually is. They're going to check that this horse travels sound at a walk, jog, and elope, that this horse doesn't show any extremely dangerous behaviors when a vet is handling them, like a fear to shots or having their head touched. A good vet will also look for signs that this horse has been drugged to make him or her more docile for the potential seller. A vet check is cheap compared to buying the wrong horse. So myth number 3, the seller would tell me if something was wrong. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. Horse sellers are not always honest. I've seen horses drugged at sales and for private showings to make them seem calmer and more handleable. I have seen dangerous ground behavior conveniently left out of the story. Under saddle issues forgotten, like flipping, bucking, raking people off on fences and panels, which is why you would bring a trainer. That's why you do your homework, because especially as a first-time buyer, you don't know what you're getting yourself into, and you would rather be safe than sorry. Then comes myth number 4, the good old I can evaluate this horse myself. If you're new, this is simply not true. Take a trainer with you or somebody that is knowledgeable in the horse community to look at this horse, especially if you're not going to do a vet check. As a new rider, you don't know what little behaviors are actually major red flags that can lead to very, very dangerous situations. A good trainer can see holes in a horse's training almost immediately, and they can tell you whether or not with correction you'll be able to safely ride this horse. And that matters. Myth number 5. They said he was bomb-proof. Every horse is bomb-proof until they aren't. If someone says their horse is bomb-proof, unfortunately, it's just not true. Any horse can have an off day, And all it takes is that one off day for somebody to be very seriously hurt. I know this because I was leading a trail ride on what we considered the kid-safe ranch trail broke horse. I mean, he was the one in a million. You could put anybody on him. He would take care of them. He would just walk in a straight line till they turned him. He didn't have a mean bone in his body. We were out on this trail that kind of went back into the swamp and curved, and we were coming around a corner, and I was leading, and right in the middle of the trail is this bag or bucket that was sitting in the middle of the trail. This horse spun a full 180, and I almost came out of the saddle. He took off, and I about got raked off on a side of trees. And I rode this horse probably 100 times. Super broke, could take him anywhere. That was just his off day. And that's something that new buyers need to be aware of, is any horse can have an off day. Myth number 6. I can fix all his problems. No, you simply cannot fix all of his problems. As a new rider, you should never buy a horse that has known behavioral issues. Buying a horse with problems as a new rider because you watched one YouTube training video of Clinton Anderson or John Lyons does not make you a horse trainer. There are tons of couch trainers who think every issue can be fixed with treats and pets. That is not the case, ever. You will hurt yourself. And if you don't hurt yourself, that horse is going to hurt you or somebody else. And this will only make matters worse for the horse in the end. Don't buy problems hoping they turn into potential. Buy solid and build from there. This is probably my favorite one and the most common error that I see, and that is myth number 7, buying for color. This is the worst possible mistake you could ever make as a first-time buyer. I understand wanting the pretty paint, the pretty buckskin, the gorgeous Appaloosa, or the beautiful black horse that just screams fantasy. But don't sacrifice broke for pretty. If you have the budget for pretty, you have the budget for broke. The broke sorrel that's standing in the pasture will save you a lot of time and a lot of money than the unbroke 7-year-old Appaloosa that if you get on him, he's going to throw you over the fence. Pretty doesn't matter when you're on the ground. Pretty doesn't matter when you're in the saddle. Broke and safe does. Myth number 8. I have a small budget. I'm only going to spend this much. That's great, but cheap is not better. Cheap usually means this horse has hidden problems. The cheaper horse is likely the one that someone wants gone and fast. These usually have major and dangerous behavioral issues or medical issues that can hurt you, and it can be extremely dangerous even in the hands of an experienced rider. If you're looking to buy a horse and you don't have a large budget, wait, save the money, work with a reputable trainer, work with a reputable barn. And if buying a broke horse isn't in the cards because it's too much, there's no shame in leasing from a reputable barn. The shame and the danger is ignoring the red flags that are being thrown in your face. Myth number 9. If he doesn't work, I'll just sell him. It's not that simple. Bad habits follow horses. Injuries follow horses. You don't just reset the clock when you post him for sale again and now he doesn't have these problems. We have to be willing to learn and we have to be willing to improve as a rider. That being said, The horse can't always be the problem. Not every horse and every rider are going to work, and that's why you should always work with a reputable trainer before you buy the horse and after you buy the horse. That way they can work with you and help you, one, bond with this horse, and two, learn how to ride this horse properly. So, and finally, myth number 10. I thought horses would be easy. Again, this is simply not true. A lot of people get into horses thinking it's going to be easy. You know, it's fun, it's cool. I get to go out and ride. I have this massive 1,200-pound animal that supposedly acts like a dog and comes when I whistle. Seems great. They think riding's the hardest part. What they don't realize is that owning a horse is a full-time responsibility, whether you board or you keep your horse at your home. They aren't bicycles. You don't just get to hop on and go gallivant across the pasture into the sunset. They require consistency, patience, and there's a lot of learning to be done as a new rider and a new horse owner. Horses don't care how excited you are. They respond to confidence, clarity, and consistency. When you're sending mixed signals to a broke horse, you're just confusing it. And if you start with the wrong horse that doesn't understand what those mixed signals are, you run the risk of getting very seriously hurt. You run the risk of losing your confidence and ultimately losing your passion. And a lot of people walk away from horses because they don't understand that and they don't have the knowledge or the willingness to learn beyond what they thought the situation was going to be. And at some point, the horse can't always be the problem. As riders, we have to rise above the level that we think our riding's at. And we need to be better, and we need to be better for our horses. That being said, not every horse and rider are going to work out. That's why you should always involve a reputable trainer before you buy. And even after you bring the horse home, horses are not easy. And there's a lot of heartache that comes with owning horses. But when it's done right, it's the best thing in the world.